Hey, everybody, come on in. Knowles 24/7 instant reaction. Florida State's double overtime loss to Virginia, 46-38. A game that had a very weird first half and a very disappointing second half, in my sole opinion. A lot of things to talk about. A lot of things to ponder over, a lot of opportunities that were missed. And ultimately, it was a road test you did not pass. This one's a tough one to swallow, guys, because there were so many points you looked better than this team, and there were so many times that this Tony Elliott Virginia team took advantage of you. That second half is a hard one to chew over. What do you think? It sucks because they were who we thought they were. Like, they did so much of the things that we saw on film over and over and over again. They out executed you. They forced you to tackle them, and you had a lot of missed tackles, and that was a lot of the explosives. Rough game, extremely frustrating game. I have no idea what the comments are in the comment section, but whatever they are, I empathize and let it rip. Adam, how do you feel?
Yeah, I think I just kind of feel like I'm not surprised. I definitely
You're not surprised at all?
Of the projections of the game. Well, just let me hash that out. Of the projections of the game, I was the only one that was within a touchdown. They kind of had it within the spread, so I thought it was going to be a close game from the get-go. Like, I didn't think this was going to be a runaway, blow them out. I did feel like with their offensive line issues that you would play better there against them matching up. And when I say I'm not surprised, I mean, when you go out and have the first half that you had, the outcome's not shocking to me. I mean, you really just kind of allowed them to have the momentum to have the second half that they had with one really fluky behind turnover, and then that fumble. It was just bad, and it kind of let them believe that they could stay in the game and let them stick to their game plan. And at a point where they weren't really doing anything to stop you, kind of what we laid out when we watched that film with Chris and Kev laid out in his preview. Like, it felt like they weren't going to be able to stop you there in the first half, and then you kind of allowed them to stay in it. Yeah, I mean, we knew that this offense was dangerous, right? I mean, coming into the game, we knew that they should score points. That's not shocking to anybody here, is it?
We knew that the offense was efficient.
But I mean,
we knew the offense.
I didn't think
efficient.
46.
I'll be honest with you. Like, we knew the offense was efficient. I did not expect the second half physical grinding domination that we saw based off what we saw in the film that we watched. The offense is efficient. The offense is productive. What they did in the second half, particularly those first two drives that were basically service academy drives, I did find that a little bit very surprising, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I guess it's surprising. Sure, it's surprising. I guess for me, when we look back at that Bama game, and not to take anything away from that win, but we knew that the defense got kind of lucky in that game. We knew Bama ran the ball right down their throat on the first drive and then just decided to not come back to it. We knew that you didn't cover the middle of the field very well with your linebackers. We knew that they were going to be a liability against them. So, I don't know. I'm having a hard time processing this game because I think that we knew that there were some red flags or some yellow flags or whatever color flags with this defense, but we thought that you would mask them with your offense and your efficiency on offense against Virginia's defense. And unfortunately, you had two really bad turnovers that, again, just kind of gave them the life that they needed to stay in the damn game.
Kev, how do you feel about this? I feel like the result, not so much the first half. The first half was a lot of the football gods shining on them, a lot of weird turnover luck, like whatever. And it all evened itself out. The second half result, after all of that, after they're wearing their throwback uniforms after they beat you 30 years ago, like this, that this is a pumped up game for them. But you kind of had the first half with all the things that happened. You got to erase that. The fact that you had a 0-0 second half game and they straight up kind of beat your ass, that surprised me. How did you digest this game?
Yeah, so I have two competing Kevins here. There's one that says how I felt during the game. There's one that watched that game and felt like it was an insult to who you are as a Florida State football program when their quarterback had a hurt thumb and they handed it off 9 times right down your throat.
Yeah, there 2022 was a lack NC of State vibes. 100%.
This honestly, this reminds me a lot of 2022. Florida State's clearly a pretty good team walking into a hostile environment and just dropping a stupid game. Now, do they respond like 2022 did? And do they say that game's over? Let's move on. Let's win a big one. But I mean, that's besides the point. That was soft. They should be embarrassed about that drive. That drive was uniquely embarrassing. There's some things you can look at and say, okay, their quarterback was playing out of his mind. Quarterback dropping dimes on that wheel route. Quarterback pulling faster than Shaheem Brown running across the field. Dude was playing lights out. It was his day. He balled out. Hats off to him. You'll give up some points. But to me, it felt like this team did not come to play. This team does not have that killer instinct that you want out of a team that you were looking at to outplay their talent. Against Alabama, they showed up and outplayed their talent. Against Virginia, they showed up and underplayed their talent. Now, that's how I feel. I feel like they showed up. They were not ready to play. I feel like that first drive, Tommy Castellanos looked anxious. He looked nervous, which was kind of weird. The offense felt a little flustered. It took them a second to get going. It felt like the road environment was getting to their heads a little bit. It felt like they were not ready to play this football game. That's how it felt. Now, I think the numbers say a different story, and I think the numbers agree with Coach AB a little bit, but I felt frustrated. I felt like they did not take this Virginia team seriously. They did not come to play on a Friday night. I felt like they were soft, and I felt like they got punched in the mouth and they weren't ready for it, and they didn't respond in a way that you need them to respond. Now,
go ahead, Jeff.
Objectively, I think if you play that game 10 times through, you win 7 or 8 of them, and then that's what the numbers say. Mm-hmm. The numbers suggest that Florida State wins this game more often than not. Bet higher EPA, higher success rate, more yards per play, more whatever. But that's not what we saw.
No, and I agree with you. In totality, I agree with you. Florida State, about 515 yards of offense, pretty evenly dispersed from ground to air. Some fluky turnovers, some stuff like that. But the thing that really just eats at me is from the second half on, we knew all of the weird football god stuff happened in the first half, right? All of the, in my opinion, the very soft ACC official calls, like the first 3 in a row. There's some controversy there, but the block in the back, the OPI, the forearm shiver thing, like 3 super soft calls in a row, in my opinion. Whatever. You wash the first half out. Mike gets him before they go into the halftime, talks him up, and then that's what really got to me, man. That second half effort, that intensity, that you knew what Virginia was going to do. They were going to throw the ball in front of you. They were going to make easy completions, and they were going to force you to tackle them, right, guys? And Florida State, when it came to the running back, the receivers, the quarterback, they didn't play assignment football, and they didn't bring those athletes down on the first wrap up, and that's what killed them. They didn't get burned over the top very much at all. But man, the Earl Little missed tackle, the misread like Chandler Morris like zone reads, the the fluky like end of the first half like Trell Harris stuff. I don't know. It's one of those things where I guess it brought us down to earth very quickly. Why we all thought Florida State was 8-4 football team, because at the beginning of the year, hey, your first 4 games, you go 3-1. Would you take it? Everybody on the call would have taken it. Taking it this way still kind of sucks. I mean, what do you think, Adam? I mean, was it just
right? Freaking blue.
It's a hard result to digest, right?
It is, and I think where I take some. I think where I disagree with you is you're wanting to throw the first half. I don't think you could throw the first half away again because, we see it time and time again in college football. It doesn't matter. We saw it Bama against Vanderbilt last year. We see it. There's so many examples in college football of allowing a team to believe that they can win a football game throughout the first half, and they come out in the second half and they just find ways to do these things. There's so many historical examples of this. And I thought that what you did in the first half really paved the way for what you did in the second half, because you weren't going in at halftime and making some magical adjustment. You were adjusting throughout the first half. Here's where I'm concerned. All right, I'm going to try to be careful how I frame this. So I think very highly of Tony White. I think everybody does. Everybody should. He's He's a very good defensive coordinator. I do think he lacks some personnel. I think we're seeing that they are clearly lacking up front, which was a concern of everyone's throughout the season or throughout the offseason, and even after the Bama game. There was some like, hey, look at these examples of things like teams are going to have film on you now. They're going to scout you. How are they going to take advantage of you? This is the first good offense. It's the first actual team you've played since that game. They've had opportunities to scout you, prep for you. So they attacked what your weaknesses are. My area of concern is and has been, so Virginia went very balanced against you, and you don't have an answer because you're playing a 5-man surface on the back in the defensive backfield. You don't really have a way to get out of that nickel look. You're forced to bring, and they forced you to put Edwin Joseph up on the line of scrimmage as a force player. Edwin Joseph's a cornerback, so he's going to naturally struggle there no matter what. We've seen Ashlyn Barker or Shaheem Brown be put in those roles. Like they struggle to have answers matching up personnel wise, in my opinion, with what Virginia was trying to do on offense. And I think that that's a big reason of why you saw Virginia have success in that second half, because they were doing tackle over stuff. Like they basically just said, kind of screw it. We realize that we've got a personnel advantage as far as numbers, our guys against the numbers that you're able to put in the box. And those backs just did a good job of finding a crease and getting 3 yards, 4 yards, or breaking a tackle when the opportunity was there on the edge. Because again, if you're asking Edwin Joseph, that's just not what he has ever done in his lifetime. And he's learning it and he's getting better at it. But like, it is a weakness. It was a weakness against Alabama. I talked about it in the instant. I talked about it in the film review. Like the forcing units for this defense are lost at times, and it shows up in glaring ways. It showed up tonight. I mean, that's why they were able to run for 4 touchdowns with Chandler Simpson. Like they are not a good forcing defense right now because guys don't know what the hell they're doing still, in my opinion. And we'll look at it on film review and talk about it more. But like, I do think that the first half played a massive role in their mindset in the second half of believing that they could go win that football game. And I don't think you can take that away. It was very concerning, though, yes, that they were able to run a 12-play drive or whatever and run it every time and shove it right down your throat. Like that's a problem because Now everybody's seeing it. Everybody's going to try to replicate that, and you're going to have to find a way to combat that. Like James Williams was your big get on along the defensive line.
He's liability. To be fair, he's a liability. He's a liability.
We talked about it when we looked at him, and we tried to find hope of him being a run player. Like, just that ain't there. It's not there. It ain't coming. He ain't gonna find it. You're gonna have to get him off the field. Like, you can't play him as many snaps as you're playing him because he's just not a good football player for you right now.
He's a package guy, right? I mean, from what we've seen so far this year, he's a package guy. And while he's on the field in standard downs, he's going to be targeted.
And as crazy as this is going to sound, I think the offense failed you more than anything.
Yeah,
I really do.
That's interesting. I thought you had
to outscore these guys. I thought you were going to need to outscore them, and you were going to need to match them point for point. And
now outside of the red zone turnover, where do you think is a play calling failure?
I don't think you ran the ball well in the second half at all. I don't think you ran the ball well at all.
I agree, because they adjusted to you very quickly that second half. They tried to do the sawchuck thing over and over again, and they totally got you there. I agree with that.
And I thought Gus just called a shitty game overall. Like in the first half, and I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to throw the ball because they're putting numbers in the box. They're looking to throw the football to try to loosen the numbers up. I know people are going crazy. How can you say that? Just listen. This team is built on their offense. Their offense is carrying the way. When you needed plays, I mean, just think about those. Think about that touchdown throw to get the damn game to overtime. That was about as dumb luck as it got. Like, that was a fluke and a miracle, and thank God it worked out. But like, that offense was not efficient when you really needed it to be there in the second half.
Do you think
I think you missed opportunities? You missed that throwback throw in overtime. Yeah. You called that play where Landon Thomas fake blocks and then releases, and he just gets
horrible call,
jammed into oblivion by the corner. It's like, dude, I mean,
what are you doing?
Are we really trying to spread the ball to Landon Thomas on an important fourth down? A kid that hasn't done anything for you all game?
Why are you in the I formation with three freaking tight ends on the field?
So, Kev,
look, I get it, AB.
Kev, in your opinion, was it an execution thing? Was it a schematic thing? What about the kind of offensive game plan? Because it did get a little funky when the pressure got applied. What about it was so like offensive to you? Was it the execution, or was it the thought behind it?
I mean, yeah, they didn't have success when it mattered. They didn't have, third down success rate. They weren't able to convert in the red zone. You miss a field goal. You have opportunities and you miss them. And in the first half, it was feeling like, all right, this team is too cute. This team is getting too cute. Just run the football down their throat. They could not stop the run. And I get that you need to mix in some RPOs and whatever, but there's too much going on, and it felt like you didn't trust your offensive line to win. But I will kind of push back. I mean, at the end of the day, I get that this is a good Virginia offense. Let's say they're a top 15 offense in the country, which I think is being pretty generous. This is Florida State football. You're a top 10 football team. Yeah. Saying we're going to blame the offense when the defense gives up 46 points. I don't care if you're playing Ohio State. You're Florida State. I mean, is Virginia, are they recruiting offensive linemen that we can't get? Like, is this a recruiting problem? Like, what is happening that you can't stop Virginia? I mean, I get that they're good. I get Chandler Morris had a game. I get that they've put together a great scheme. I agree with all of those things. I agree that the offense, I agree, but both sides struggled. But
it was a total team loss on each side. To be fair,
you can't look at you can't see 0th percentile in defensive run stuff rate and think that that's an offensive problem.
For the offensive line that we witnessed, Adam, but for the offensive line that we witnessed for Virginia, the defensive line's effort against that, based on even what we've seen them do in the first 3 games, was poor, right?
Yeah, I'm not arguing that it wasn't. Of course it was poor. It was piss poor.
Right.
But I don't.
Maybe you're saying.
No,
Wait,
I said,
go
I
ahead.
said,
Go
I
ahead.
think
Go
that
ahead.
the
I'm joking.
offense let you down in this game.
I think
That's
they
what
did.
I'm
I agree.
saying.
Yes.
I'm not saying that the defense played well. Obviously, they didn't play well. That's very crystal clear. But I
Sure.
think that the offense let you down in this game.
Because they had
I
a more
thought
favorable
Gus
matchup
dicked
as
around
well.
in the first half.
They had a more
Okay.
favorable matchup as well. Our
Much
offense
more
did.
favorable. Gus screwed around in the first half and allowed Virginia to stay in the freaking football game. And it allowed them long enough for their offense to go out there and own you in the second half. So no, I don't want. Yes, I think the offense cost you in this game because Gus screwed around the first half, and Tommy wasn't efficient.
Yeah.
They've got one throw that they can make, and that's to Deuce Robinson on the back shoulder right now. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a problem.
It's a problem, but I also feel like we possibly didn't leverage it enough because it was an instant first down or like big play gain. Like, did it feel like
him? Did you watch him like late in that game? Like he was trying to tap out. Like Tim Harris is on the sideline saying, "You're good, you're good, you're good." Like, was he hurt? Was he just that freaking tired? Like, holy hell.
Possibly, but I'm thinking in the first half, like we really we outclassed them in a lot of areas. Our offense versus their defense, but it was a massive like class shift from our wide receivers to their secondary, and I don't know if we leveraged it enough.
I mean,
do you guys feel that way or no?
I mean, I feel like you need to convert in the red zone. I think you need to hit that field goal. I think there's a couple of plays you wish you could take back. There was a power read on Jet that I think Virginia played well, but I think if you give it, that's a touchdown. And I think there were just a couple of times where you made the wrong read, made the wrong throw, didn't complete a pass, had a weird call on fourth down. There were just those few times when you're like, all right, if you had gotten this, the game's totally different. If you had gotten that fourth down, the game's different. If you had gotten that thing, there were just a few key plays that it felt like you can point to Gus and say, well, that was just you getting a little bit too cute when you need to just go out and execute.
Or if Jerry Wilson could have got that pick, like
if Jerry Wilson gets that pick, you could have had a
14-point like first half lead. Yeah. But they didn't get it, and you still had the 0-0 second half advantage, and you didn't take advantage of it. And man,
you scored.
I feel like UVA, they thought you were ripe for the picking on the defensive line, dude. Like they did not fear your defensive line. They did not fear your length. They did not fear your effort. They did not fear your secondary activity in the run fits, and they kind of sun you a little bit.
I mean, Alabama's offensive coordinator after the game essentially said, what we were doing in the first drive, we abandoned. I regret that. We could have kept doing it all game. And I think we, as optimistic Florida State people, said, no, we made an adjustment. We stopped you. We changed things to slow you down. And it seems like Virginia said, no. I think Alabama's right, and they proved it.
To be fair, Kev, that's a very dumb thing to admit. The first thing I did in the game worked so good and I never got back to it. Well, you're a fucking moron. Like, you should have done that 10 more times. Like, to be fair, right? Like, that's a crazy thing to admit, right?
But Virginia just did it too.
I agree. So, I'm trying to put myself in the mindset of what I was 45 to an hour minutes ago. He said that. It doesn't make any sense, but I just saw Virginia do it to us for an entire half of football. After getting resettled, after dealing with all of the crazy road ACC short game stuff, I don't know, man. I'm really discombobulated about this football team because I feel like the effort and the assignment football let you down tonight, and I thought that was something we could count on. I mean, am I looking a little bit too deep into this, Adam? Like, we knew that there was issues with the depth of their zone drops, and Chandler Morris and UVA took advantage of that. I did not expect so many issues when UVA was going to straight up line up and do what they thought they were going to do. Who is Florida State's football team right now?
I think they're a good football team. I know that's tough to want to hear coming off of a loss at Virginia and everything, but I still think they're decent. Like I still think they're good. Like I think I do. I think that they've got a bit of an identity crisis on defense that they're trying to work through. And it's not shocking that in the first season of a brand new coach in a brand new system that we're having some issues of a team that came off of 2-10 last year, and
they're 3-1 now. Like
they're 3-1. They did beat Alabama with some luck, and it wasn't, maybe it was fluky. Maybe it was fluky. Maybe it just was like, maybe everybody just needed to not overreact, and maybe we just need to not overreact right now, because you went up on a Friday night to freaking Virginia and they wore their 95 uniforms and came out and they pulled an upset. I mean, these damn things happen all the time in college football. Why? I just don't.
Because it's the fourth game. It's because if this was the 10th game and we knew what this team was already, but now we're sitting here going, is this the team that beats Alabama or is this the team that loses to Virginia? And it's giving an identity crisis.
I get it. And I'm trying to be base right now. I'm trying to be not.
I agree with you. If this team plays the way that they played the first 4 weeks, they're still a top 25 team that can probably win, 8 to 10 games, which is what we thought they were.
Yeah.
But
and that's exactly what we thought they were. So
but
why did we
have to admit that there was a moment where we thought this was a playoff team.
Oh shit, the hell yeah. Absolutely. You beat Alabama week 1. Hell yeah.
Especially with the way that the rest of the landscape shook out and the effort and the intensity that they played with.
I believe, okay, that you have a good offense, you have an average defense. And I believe that you need to live and die by your offense right now. And I believe
it's your strongest unit.
It is your strongest unit. It is your best unit. It is the unit that they told us all offseason was their best. I mean, I remember all the intel coming out from the season that they felt the best about their offense. So that is why I'm most critical about that side of the ball, because I do think it is your best group. And I do think in the second half, in which they scored 7 points up until the last play of the game in the second half, that is a problem for you.
For sure.
Now, I will say this. It's your first road game. That is never easy. Those are never easy things to go do, no matter how many times you've done it. At getting your group together, I was disappointed in some of the personnel stuff coming in and off the sidelines. Like, I thought they didn't handle this road atmosphere very well. And for Mike being the CEO, that's unacceptable. You took on the CEO role. You can't have that. That ship's got to be tight. But again, I'll say, okay, it's your first one. Like, if it happens again, I'm going to be a little louder about it. Because that's supposed to be what you're overseeing and what you're handling. So I think people are going to now want to, you're going to get destroyed by Miami. Maybe. I think you're going to play a lot harder against Miami than you did tonight, because history suggests that you will. I worry that you still are a team that is in flux of finding itself. You've got a good offense, but it's not a great offense because it's lacking. If you had Chandler Morris, I'm sorry, I called him Chandler Simpson. If you had Chandler Morris, I think you're a drastically better football team. Like,
really?
Yeah. I think you're a legit playoff team with that kid, because he can run a little bit, because he can also make freaking throws, and he can give you a real passing game.
I just don't think Gus has a real passing game loaded in the chamber.
And maybe you're right, Kev. Maybe you're right.
I think Tommy is a better fit for this.
Maybe it's more of a Gus issue than Tommy. But
I mean, Tommy played well tonight. I mean, he missed a couple throws you need him to make, but he made a couple throws you'd never expect him to make.
Yeah, I guess I suppose
Yeah,
that's fair.
I
I thought
mean,
he missed a couple easy ones that would have kept drives going. That
in the
were
first half, yeah,
yeah.
there was a couple over the middle that kind of fluttered and didn't get there. But
I was more worried that it didn't feel like he was operating the read option in the RPO game well. There were a couple of times where I felt like he made the wrong read that kind of hurt your ability to get a third or a fourth down.
and I will say the Virginia kids like Melton and the other ones, like they played the option game pretty well. They baited him into the read that they wanted, and they took him down, which is something that Florida State struggled with. Like getting the primary ball carrier down, Florida State didn't do a great job. And Virginia does not generate a lot of explosive plays except with yards after the catch. And we failed that. We failed that tonight, but we pointed it out in the film review, and they didn't execute. That's the thing that has been a very frustrating night to me for you guys, is that they didn't do anything that we thought they wouldn't do. Yeah. They just executed, and they said, we're going to wait for you to screw up. And Florida State did enough times. And
I mean, it's crazy. You picked them off 3 times.
But you picked them off at like the worst times, like right before the half, or
yep, 2 of them before the half, in which you couldn't capitalize on. And people are saying like, "Oh, you scored 38 points. It took 2 overtimes. Like,
yeah,
you didn't score the second one." And again, you scored 7 points in the second half before that last play.
No, you underperformed on offense so bad.
We've talked about this offense as having a glaring advantage over that defense, and you scored 7 points in the second half outside of the last play of the game. Like that's a problem. I don't care what anybody can say. Everybody can call me crazy. That was an issue that lost you this game, in my opinion.
You've got to leverage the advantages that you have, especially coming into the 15 minutes in the third quarter. It's a 0-0 game. You didn't execute. Either way, disappointing result, disappointing game.
Yeah.
Tough. It's not gonna, like you said, you have to take yourself back to the preseason. Would you have taken 3-1 after the first 4 games? Obviously, of course. But it's hard to put yourself there after what you saw from weeks 1 through 3. Now, you got a Miami team that's like Virginia on steroids, but you got them at home.
I mean, I think Chandler Morris is better than Carson Beck, but I would take probably every other person on that Miami roster.
We would take their lines of scrimmage 100%.
They're gonna watch this film. They're gonna put 2 tight ends out on the field, bounce you out, and they're gonna double team your front and challenge your linebackers in your secondary to come make tackles all game long, which is exactly what Virginia did. And then when you get them a little bit behind the chains, they're gonna throw something intermediate against his zone coverage that, again, against these linebackers that just really don't know how to play it.
And we'll get there. We'll get there next week. There's a lot of stuff. But I hope that it's shown this Florida State team that it's extremely, very fallible. Like, there is a lot of things you are susceptible to. Tough, brutally tough game. But you're a third of the way through your season. Technically, you're ahead of expectations. You can do whatever the heck you want to do from here on out. How is Florida State going to respond? We don't know. There were so many different indications from this game in and of itself. It was a nasty roller coaster up and down. We do know that at Knowles247.com, we will be here with you to ride all those roller coasters with you. We'll see you on the message boards. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Tonight sucked real bad. But we're going to process it as much as we can. We love you. You love us. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Keep chopping.
Drink up.
Please, God dang. Drink up. Love you guys.